Last chapter, we saw Isolde escape down to the surface of a hostile world, her pod opening and her having to build herself shelter, a new home here in the wilderness, away from any civilization that she knows of. She even built herself a coffin, somewhere secure to sleep away from the rays of the sun. She encountered some of the local populace. Though they witnessed her vampiric traits and became wary of her, they still seemed to be friendly nonetheless, and left her alone. She encountered the dangers of the otherwise peaceful wildlife, suffering extensive injuries and trauma. She learned that her powers will not always save her from serious harm. She also learned that some people, no matter how kindly you attempt to treat them, no matter how persuasive you believe you are, cannot be reasoned with. They will try to fight you, to kill you, without any pause, without any rest, until such time as you have drained them of every last drop. Hello friends, welcome back to Rimworld, a story generator by Tyne and Sylvester. This is Mindless Max, welcoming you once again to the world of Isolde's clinic. Now, Isolde here is standing just outside the grave she just finished filling with poor Luke, the barbaric invader who refused to stop attacking her until such point as he had been drained to the point of death. Life goes on for everyone but Luke. Isolde is upset with herself, upset with Luke, upset with this whole crazed world out here on the Rim. And yet, she must carry on. As Isolde slumbers away the day once again, barely over, not even, in fact, a season into her first year here, a group of goblins from the Bogua people have arrived nearby. Primitive savage species coming to test their mettle against her. A single peasant armed with a knife. These people she could at least convince to like her. Regrettably, the goblins would not wait for nightfall. As soon as noon struck, he began making his way closer and closer. Isolde must get up and deal with this matter. Holding the door open and then retreating inside, she prepares herself. Glotis No, Glottless, the goblin, is determining how best to reach her. Wait. Yes, her powers had grown. She can get the ability to cause the goblin to go to sleep. She does need some vitae at the moment, so she's failed. And again. And again. She attempts to put it to sleep. Nothing is happening. Ah, finally, success. While Glottless attempted to clamber over the stone after her, Isolde managed to put them to sleep. They are in a deep trance. Swiftly, she scrambles over to close the door. She has been cut and bruised. She has a warg in her home she needs to get rid of. Seeks revenge on her for the attack. But she continues to drain its blood. And again. It's down. There's no need to kill the creature. As Isolde continues to work away at clearing the stone from our house, turning it into usable bricks. And in the meantime, picking berries for Glottless to feed on while she convinces him it'd be better to work with her rather than against her. A merchant from Dale begins to approach. They're a shaman merchant, so they'll have, hopefully, something of interest. Now, as it should turn out, Daelm is a civilization of wood elves. Some interesting people on this planet. Isolde heads out to speak with their leader. They have spells for sale. Fortunately, nothing much for her. Now, Glottless has an addiction to tobacco, and he came with some cigars. Isolde wants to help him with that, so she's selling away his cigars so that he can no longer have any more. They're willing to sell some crystal mints, plasteel. As the only money she has is what she can get from selling the cigars. There's very little she can afford. She thanks them for that. Bringing in the silver, she returns to her work. As Isolde is working on getting rid of some of the slate bricks by flooring her bedroom, improving its look, there's another visitor approaching, a medieval doctor from Star Explorer. an advanced human civilization. They're visiting the colony. Her name is Amaya. I have to wait for her to approach closer, as it is approaching dawn. Amaya didn't even stick around long enough for night to fall before moving on, but she was just visiting, scouting out what's here, as it were. She had nothing to trade, nothing to talk about. The Wood Elves, kindly, perhaps pleased with their new neighbor, leave us a gift. Some demon scale. Only 2 pieces. But perhaps that could be useful someday. She continues to work about her home, building a tailor bench in anticipation of the crop of cotton that is growing in. More visitors arrive from the Moon Pack. Werewolves and their families. Unfortunately, they were unwilling to wait for nightfall, and so have left without her having been able to even see them. Perhaps they will return. Until then, she has Glottless for company. As she continues to work on the expansions to which she hopes will one day be a functioning clinic, a shadow charger goes mad, driven that way by some psychic impulse spreading over the planet. It's coming for her. She prepares herself. As it approaches, she prepares to use her mesmerizing gaze. Then leaps forward to feed from it. Dawn is fast approaching. After 2 feedings, it perishes. She heads back indoors. Incredibly, despite continuing to feed Glottis and talk with him, he seems to have gone hostile once more. Malnourished. But he has food right there. Isolde hurries back to where he's knocking on the door. What happened? What did it? Didn't work. She stuns him for the moment. Now has minor blood loss. Moderate. Just sip his blood, perhaps. Severe blood loss. Is it possible we can just lead him around until he falls down now? We will wait. Isolde doesn't want a repeat of what happened with Luke. She doesn't want to accidentally kill him. He's an unusual little being, but he's finally collapsed. At last, Isolde is starting to see all of her hard work come to fruition. She's got beds ready to use as a clinic. For now, she's moving glottless to one of them. In addition, her potato crop has come in, ready to be harvested, and her cotton is nearly grown. Soon, she will be clothed. She may even make a set for glottless. For all, the primitive clothing he's currently wearing is nearly rags, just clinging to his flesh by bits of string and thread. As Isolde works on hauling everything in before the sun rises, hobgoblins and the Naxosor coalition approach to attack immediately. A single male as well. She's being offered a chance to recruit a deserter from the Shattered Empire. Though they're being hunted by a loyalty squad, and she will become an enemy of the Shattered Empire, at least for the time being. Can she really turn down someone in need? Very well. Theophilos, we welcome you. Physically adept, transhumanist, and a fisherman. He comes with a bullpup rifle. Goggled hood, plain leather tunic. He's dressed, he has armor. He has meals, but perhaps most importantly, he can actually prepare food. He has come in along the stone road that cuts through this landscape, almost immediately next to the hobgoblin. Tries to chase him down. Yes. The hobgoblin has noticed him now. He opens fire. He's wounded it slightly. Can he outrun it? No, he cannot. The loyalty squad has just arrived. They're opening fire. Theophilos is injured. We need to get him closer to home if we can. He's gone down. No, Theophilos. The loyalty squad is shooting at the hobgoblin. I've hit him a couple of times. 3. They have taken down the hobgoblin. Isolde rouses herself, coming out to the doorway. Will the raid carry on? Yes. Hopefully Theophilos will recover enough to get up off the ground. Isolde decides to leave the door open and retreat inside out of the way, trying to lure Aurelius in. He's lighting fire to the building. It's not in the home area. Isolde is trying to hold on to Glottis, while Aurelius continues to attack. A pair of them seem to be after one another now. She's managed to stun Aurelius. Glottis is helping to beat him down. At the moment, Isolde lets them fight with each other. Glottis takes down Aurelius. Capture. The Ebony Cross and the clinic have now been named. Glottis needs tending immediately. Theophilus is steadily, slowly bleeding to death. It isn't good. But she can't get to him while the sun is still out. It's noon now. It would be certain death. as a sign of good faith, she decides to release Aurelius once he's able to move again. That way, at the very least, she can show them she doesn't intend to make them her enemies. While tending to Aurelius, Isolde couldn't fight the sleep anymore and collapsed shortly before evening began to fall, but Theophilus has woken. Hurriedly, he goes to pick up his bullpup rifle. Aurelius is no longer incapable of walking, so can be freed when somebody is capable of doing so. Aurelius been released? Isolde. Isolde is currently releasing Aurelius, and off he runs. She could have taken his equipment from him, but she would have felt bad, sending him naked back out into the world. A new caravan from the Moonpack approaches in the midst of all of this. A war merchant. Theo is far better with people than Isolde is. He will be the one to talk to them. Theo approaches the traders. They suddenly all shift into their werewolf forms. But they don't seem hostile. They are willing to buy these weapons off of us, which we have no use for. And so, we're willing to part with them. More than that, though. No. Theo barely made it inside before he finally collapsed from his blood loss. Isolde is tending him. He will be fine. Outside, the werewolves continue to howl. An unusual symphony for medical care. Apparently Aurelius didn't make it very far. He collapsed once more. Now he has an infection. Isolde hurries to rescue him. Then he perishes. Once more, Glottless goes berserk. This time, Isolde's sleep ability works properly. We attempted to treat you. And for our failure, we will bury you. Earlier, there were a pair of pieces of ship that fell from the sky over here in the lake, inside the swamp. Thinking it might be best to have a source of electricity now, that she has someone else living with her, Isolde sets her mind to take them apart, come the evening once more. It seems that it can take really disastrous events, extreme changes in life, to bring two people together. Isolde and Theophilos have decided to become lovers, as Theophilos courted Isolde by jokingly half complimenting her hopes and dreams, so he has some respect for her love of people and her hopes to build a clinic to treat them. But he looks on the brighter side, the lighter side of things, rather, and even finds the humor in what she wants to do. And she's responded well, and they are now lovers. They want to sleep together. Regretfully, Theo is not a nightlifer. But we will do what we can. We will uninstall Isolde's coffin. We certainly have the wood for it, so we will attempt to install a double bed. The bright side, this means Theo gets to move out of the medical storage room and into a real bedroom. Oh, not the royal, there we go. And so, with the bed for two built, we leave Isolde and Theo peacefully and happily sleeping together. So have a good night. We will see you here again in Isolde's clinic.